Yeah. So.
Are we live yet?
All right, I think we're good. Yes, we are good now. I'm like 99% sure. Thank you, Slival, for your patience. So, yeah, this fingers crossed we go better here. All right. So, moving on to game 3. Just gonna jump right back into it, I guess. Going to Glacial Fortress, or Frozen Fortress. I can never quite remember the name.
Really quick, Hex, I'm not seeing the screen at all.
Oh, my bad. I forgot to do this. Alright. Here we go. And, oh geez, I'm so sorry about that. Apparently, Salt went on an absolute tear for stock so far. And taking the stock with only 31% on him. It's a really good start. This stage in general is really great for Sylve. Just the large amount of space you have gives you a lot of room to run around, a lot of room to set up grass. Can generally make his ground game just a lot stronger, emphasizing his biggest strengths. Right there, using Hal to do some peck chasing. And so far, Snake just hasn't had much of a chance to play.
Yeah, it seems like Snake's trying to just go to the platforms a lot of the time simply because simply because Sallgood is keeping stage control with the core of the stage.
Yeah.
Yeah, and again, Sallgood's just all over Snake right now. Seems like, even on the platform areas. Just great spacing right there in the down tilt.
Yeah, going for the back air, but not quite getting it. Something to notice that I believe this is Sallgood's first time playing Sylve in bracket. I could be wrong, but up until a few weeks ago he was a Zedder main, so switching it up a little bit, trying to help with his mindset in the game. And so far it's been working out wonderfully for him, even in this really awkward matchup. He's been holding his own really well.
Yeah, this is definitely a critical game 3 right now, and he seems to really be adapting well, especially with his stage pick. I think is really going in his favor compared to the Blazing Hideout game.
Yeah. Right, trying to do some ledge trapping, but Snake getting back on with the bubble butt. And just barely missing that down strong. So I'm probably looking to try to just take this game quickly. Yes, Slival, the power of resetting the internet. The biggest brain solution. Apologize, sometimes my internet's a little bit wild. I didn't have this problem last time I streamed, but it's been kind of wacky today, so yeah. Let's see if Snake can... if Saul can turn this juggle into a kill. Not quite. And...
Move for the bear, and looks like that situation kind of went against him.
Yep. But, this is still a huge deficit for Snake to come back on, just like with Saul in Game 1. So, we're gonna have to see if, Snake can somehow make this come back. And just going for the down strong, and that's gonna take Game 3 going to Sallgood.
Yeah, very nice adaptation right there, and I think it started with the stage pick. It seemed like most of that game, Sallgood definitely was maintaining stage control over Snakebandit, and even though towards the end he was getting stuff started, it didn't necessarily come into fruition quickly enough.
Yeah. This is an interesting stage choice from Snake. I'm wondering what his game plan is here, because this is arguably Sylve's best stage. It's really good just having all that ground space instead of grass. Now, Orca can take good advantage of the stage as well, but it's very risky. I'm wondering if Snake wants to kind of play a bit more on the defensive here and try to force Salt to approach somehow.
I can definitely see that, especially with the playstyle that Sallgood seems to be using with Sylve.
Getting the tech chase with down strong. Not getting a turn off of the advantage right there. And managing to parry the F strong. Sylve F strong, not an amazing punish tool. It can kill, but not very well. Sylve in general, a little inconsistent in the kill power department.
Right, seems like that F strong is really good for just setting up a multi-hit smash attack, just to make sure that you land some kind of hitbox with the punish.
So the main use for F strong, it actually is his best punish option. The thing is that the only really strong, and that was a really good setup there from Snake, kind of just showing how oppressive this matchup can be for Sylph. Where if you can just get him off stage and keep him at the ledge, it's so hard to get back. But the main thing about Sylph, in terms of his strong attacks, is the only one that really has substantial knockback is the tipper hit of up strong. Down strong is fast and sends at a weird angle, but it's not super strong, so you're kind of forced to use F strong at higher percents, even though it's a pretty unsatisfying move. So far, things have been pretty even. Snake kind of just running away, hanging out behind the puddle. And yeah, as soon as he goes past it, Sal's kind of able to... Oh, well, not quite actually. That's a very well-placed up air.
Yeah, getting another stock with the down special to up air.
Yeah. Sal going for the same thing, how down strong, not quite landing it. But definitely kind of showing that Snake has to stay on his toes here. And getting it yet again, not quite killing this time, but putting Snake in a really uncomfy position. Going for back air edge guards, but not quite landing them. Getting the parry. And the down strong. That was a really interesting position on the down strong. Like somehow got the reverse hit from in front of him.
Forward hit. Yeah, that was a really unique knockback angle.
Yeah. I definitely like his use of Beast Dash jab to try to kind of push Snake into the corner. I almost always default to Beast Dash up tilt, so I can just go for juggles. But working can be a little bit tricky to juggle because he can kind of stall in the air and drop that projectile without really putting himself at risk. So I like Sal. I actually do like Sal trying to go for more of the just pushing him off stage angle.
Yeah, especially with how even the ground matchup seems to be on Fire Capital.
Yeah, and just barely out of range right there. That could have been devastating for Sal. My co-commentator is Ken J, by the way. And that forward air, almost taking it, so sweet spot forward air is... Oh, can't make it back, he doesn't have any resources. So that is going to be our first set of winner semis going to Sallgood.
Yeah, that stage choice and the strategy that Sallgood used to maintain stage control really seemed to work out for him well there. Just continuing to push Snakebandit off stage and pretty much daring him to come back. And even though there'd be times where he'd have the puddle to mix up his recovery and whatnot, it just wasn't enough there that last stock.
Yeah. Alright, so next up we're going to have our other winner semi set. This one being HAMEES versus Jharlembuschk. We actually saw Jharlem take the last tournament, so... Oh, not consistent. There we go. It'll be interesting to see if he manages to kind of just tear through the bracket again. Just give me 1 second to make sure on the first set, or first game rather. Alright. Yeah, we are good here. So at the bat, starting off on Merchant Port. I think this is a fairly... I don't know. My instinct would be to say this is one of the better starters for LS. I'm just kind of having all that space to set up ice. It's really nice. And getting the snipe with the icicle. Almost spelling an early end for HAMEES there, but getting the tech, managing to make it back.
Yeah, Jharlem's really going for the offstage pressure right there.
Yeah.
Trying to exploit burn recovery.
Something we saw last week is that Jharlem can definitely be a very aggressive Etalus and kind of just go ham on his opponents. Something we haven't seen yet is him pulling out the armor. Oh, and as soon as I say it, he just goes for it. And getting the Galaxy on the down special.
Yeah, once again, seeing that aggression carry over from last week into this week.
Yeah. Definitely makes sense. He's getting on enough damage and just kind of getting the kill right away. That was a little sus DI from Jharlem. But it happens.
Yeah, on those occasions where you don't have the optimal DI, you just kind of got to move on and make sure you're prepared for those knockback angles next time.
For sure.
Once, like, HAMEES is just trying to push Jharlem off stage himself with some quick moves.
Yeah, managing to stall out Jharlem long enough to get rid of all of the ice. And now he's gonna have to start from scratch, or just go for the armor like that as soon as he gets ice up. Things have been fairly even so far. Obviously, Jharlem in a slight percent deficit, but it's Edelus. Things like that can just kind of obliterate your stock if you're not careful. Getting the parry down strong.
Both these players are just really going at each other. Very aggressive play right now.
For sure. I mean, it makes sense. These are two characters that are generally going to stay a little more on the aggressive side and try to take advantage of just how dangerous their kill setups can be. Zedibird having the fire, and Edelus having Dacus and just general heavyweight moves.
Absolutely. And even the hammer, we've been seeing Jharlem use that to the best of his ability as well, depending on the spacing of his opponent.
Actually, so I had to say I was a little surprised he didn't go for it yet, but Jharlem just kind of taking the game anyway, not even to worry about whether or not he can get armor up. So
yeah, I felt like one of the tipping points for game one right there was the use of the icicles. He was able to really snipe his recovery off stage very effectively and was continuing to put pressure on him and keep him at a disadvantage.
Yeah. Going for some up air combos right here. And that was really good from HAMEES spacing that to get the edge cancel, so even though he got parried, he didn't really get punished. Dang, yeah. Just obliterating that. Was that that wasn't a 0 to death, was it?
No,
just
I think
it was just barely.
It was darn close.
Yeah. Very good stuff from Jharlem, but HAMEES responding back, not taking any damage on his second stock yet. And little commentator's curse, but you know. Still doing a really good job just trying to kind of keep Jharlem on his toes. Not fall back too far.
Right now, HAMEES is doing a pretty good job maintaining stage control despite Jharlem trying to put down ice, and definitely caught him with that stock.
Yeah.
Hammer.
One of the things I've really liked from HAMEES so far is that his edge guarding has made it really crucial for kind of stalling out ice. So even if Jharlem can get like the entire stage covered in ice, if HAMEES can get that hit and just push him off to the side, it all goes away before Jharlem can use it. And that's allowed him to really keep the playing field even.
Absolutely. So yeah, we'll have to see if Jharlem can adapt later this set to find ways to get back to stage more quickly to take full advantage.
God, Jharlem just going for landing hammer and managing to land the down special.
Yeah, once again, HAMEES is doing a nice job trying to keep Jharlem away from his ice.
Yeah, he's barely not getting that kill because of the armor.
Yeah, it wasn't quite enough because Jharlem was able to get his hammer.
Oh my god, he almost had him with the hammer there. Jharlem, he just goes for it. Like, it's so scary to watch him just kind of press the button and, like, you know, if they don't respect it, they die.
Absolutely. Yeah, we saw that a lot last week, and wouldn't be surprised if we see quite a bit of that again this week. It seems to be a pretty effective strategy for Jharlem's Edelus.
Yeah. We're getting him on the platform, and that was an interesting option. I'm wondering, I'm not super familiar with Edelus, so I'm wondering if a well-timed down strong would have covered all the options there.
I felt like in that situation you had to go for a mix-up with that moving platform.
Maybe.
A very nice stock is coming through right there.
Yeah.
For Jharlem.
Doing an amazing job with the pressure using the reverse back air. He's getting enough damage to get rid of the armor and intercepting him and getting the Galaxy before Jharlem can get more armor up.
Absolutely. HAMEES right there with a very good call out right to end game two. It seems like once again that left platform, whether it was on Merchant Port or on Julesdale, it just seemed as if HAMEES was really comfortable just punishing that option.
Yeah. Going to Aramata here. Now, last week when we saw Bumpus go here, it did not end particularly well, so we're going to have to see if HAMEES can tell a bit of a different story, taking Edelus on Armada. Definitely a risky stage to take a heavyweight on, given the small blast zones. But Zedder kill power isn't exactly anything to scoff at either.
Right.
Actually, never mind. Jharlem is the one that went here. So I guess it does make sense.
Mm-hmm. Also, HAMEES Zetterburn will have to try and reach a little more. They'll have to commit to platform pressure more so on this than on others.
Generally something that I'm just not a huge fan of on this stage. I do need to learn how to play here with Syl, but with Shovel Knight it's just not fun. And
yeah.
Getting punished again. Wow, getting the Galaxy on the up air.
Very nice call out right there.
For sure. Something I feel like we haven't seen a ton yet is, of course, the staple of playing the Edelus matchup of being parrying icicles. A lot of the time Jharlem uses them, it seems to be when he's retreating. Of course, it's not always the case. But I don't think we've seen HAMEES parry icicles once yet.
Situation that's kind of catching him on that is he's opting to jump in the air. And it seems like that's oftentimes where he's getting caught by icicles as well.
That's true, yeah. Some good grounded mix-ups right there. And... no, that's so tragic.
That was pretty unfortunate. That was a bold call out from Jharlem.
Yeah, you hate to see it, but answering right back with a fire down strong. One thing I have noticed from HAMEES is that it feels like he's missing quite a few of these ground attacks. Jharlem isn't usually getting a ton of extra pressure on them, but because it does force you to bounce up in a certain direction, that could be leading to a lot of big damage from Jharlem, if he starts to kind of notice that.
It's interesting because it seems like Jharlem's opting to just kind of linger around in the air a little more and then just waiting for the right time. He seems to be doing it pretty effectively so far.
Yeah, I didn't even know there was ice there. And this man just went for a hammer 3 times in a row, one of which in a Zedder fire pillar. I respect it. Oh, but that might be the end for Jharlem. Game 3 going to HAMEES.
Alright.
It's a very close one, very back and forth.
Yeah, absolutely. It was interesting to kind of see the adaptation with the different platform heights and just to see how each player had to that.
Yeah. I guess right now Jharlem, instead of opting for a small blast zone, he's opting for a bigger stage size. Which I suppose makes sense. Edelus is going to be able to take advantage of bigger stages a lot better, because having all that extra ice and also just having like dash attack mobility is great. A lot of down specials from Jharlem right now, trying to get those freezes.
Yeah, but down specials in general for this matchup. Whenever he seems to be getting ice on the ground, he just kind of goes for it at the right times.
Nice conversion there from Jharlem, getting Icicle into Bear.
That was
definitely a scary move.
And again, Jharlem's just kind of going in right now on HAMEES. The size of the stage is really affecting his playstyle all that much.
And not realizing there wasn't ice there, so he kind of goes for the hammer unnecessarily. The Icicle's interrupting HAMEES' aggression there, and just barely missing that punish on the hammer.
Yeah, that was kind of an interesting option coming out from HAMEES, just charging his up B.
Yeah.
Working to a certain degree.
fireball parry from Jharlem. And again, looking to see if HAMEES can start parrying icicles and kind of, you know, not let Jharlem just get full ground space. I like how HAMEES is rolling out to avoid the down Bs. He hasn't really gotten hit by that many this game. I think just one, maybe two.
Right. That particular roll, though, seemed to put him in slightly more of an aggressive position. And it seemed like Jharlem was really prepared for that and was able to take the stock anyway.
We haven't seen a ton of parries, but we've seen a good amount of parries from Jharlem, but actually not really any in general from HAMEES. That's a good point. Not even on icicles, but just on anything. Ooh. Almost a devastating situation for HAMEES.
Yeah, and again, Jharlem just really comfortable throwing out all his specials. Probably part of that has to do with the fact that he's not really seeing any parries coming out from HAMEES, not even really any attempts.
Absolutely no parries and not really any, you know, not some decent dodging, but not like perfect dodging. And that's going to allow Jharlem to take this set to game 5.
Yeah, it looks like we had another Dacus coming into play, that last stock to seal the set.
And ending off on a...
Or sorry, not seal the set, sorry about that.
Yeah. Interestingly, I feel like we've seen them almost exclusively go to starter stages this set. If I remember correctly, we've only seen one non-starter stage in Aramata. HAMEES, I mean, Jharlem almost missing that parry punish. Oh yeah, it definitely is more than just who's parrying better, but it is something to note that, especially against icicles, right, parrying can really be an important part of shutting down LS. And in general, HAMEES' defense has been a little so-so this set.
Right, it seems like we're playing each other pretty close. I feel like that could make the difference in the favor of HAMEES from a couple of those games if you were able to catch on to that.
Yeah. And going for the hammer, not getting anything. There's a good landing punish from Jharlem. See if we can get anything off of this. Oh, just barely missing the Dacus, and HAMEES coming in with the Gatling. It's a really unfortunate situation there.
Yeah, HAMEES is able to reverse that off the whiff punish.
Yeah, but Jharlem continuing to keep things extremely close this set. Lots of ice setup right now, and HAMEES still not really getting the text, but Jharlem, again, not getting a ton off of that.
Yeah, Jharlem's been pretty evasive so far here on tower.
Yeah.
He's setting up his ice. He's kind of moving in and out at the right times from HAMEES.
And he's getting the punish, but not a very strong punish. I think that's fair, Slival. There are a lot of times where it feels like... There are some times where Jharlem's getting a ton off of advantage, but there are definitely a lot of situations, more than the other, where it really feels like he's kind of dropping the ball on keeping HAMEES in disadvantage and like tacking on as much damage as he can. And like right there, you know, missing a lot of edge guards, kind of just getting his kills from Dacuses and apparently hammers. I was gonna say down specials, but that works too.
We see that move kill.
Yeah, that's the second time, I think, right? Yeah, the first was on Armada.
I believe so, yeah. Sounds about right.
And we are on a last stock, last game situation in this set right now. Very close between these two players. Yeah, I definitely feel like there's a lot of just kind of rushing in right now. And just sort of, you know, pressing forward and praying.
That was a really nice
just
spectacle
barely missing that dare. This is a really scary situation for both players. One raw kill move could seal the deal.
Absolutely, and especially Jharlem's hammer coming back into play.
Oh, and Jharlembuschk
Set.
getting that last hit. There we go.
It's a very interesting matchup. Definitely two aggressive players just kind of on ham on one another at certain times, but it definitely felt like for most of that set, even when it was close, it felt like Jharlem always had the edge, and it was specifically because of the use of hammer and the use of parrying coming out from Jharlem as well. Those seem to be the two big differences between those two players.
Yeah. And as we're about to see, we are getting much better character variety than last week. These first two sets have been pretty similar to what we've seen so far, but we're about to shake things up quite a bit with, if I'm not mistaken here, a Crag versus a Raster.
All right. Sounds good. Getting some of the OGs.
Absolutely. All right. I don't know if anyone else calls this loser sevenths. I do. So we're just rolling with it. Take those ones away. And unless I'm just flat out wrong here, I think we are about good to go. Yeah, okay. Okay. That is the wrong game order. Okay. So there might be a lot of jumping around, because apparently the game order's not quite right. So I apologize if that ends up being the case. But, yeah. Oh. Slam, want to elaborate on what happened there? Or Slival, because you're both kind of here. Slival, did you do me dirty?
Okay, it seems like a disconnect, and that's why they had to...
Yeah, there was a DC. So let me check something real quick. Oh yeah, because that's not a starter either. Let me then make sure that the rest of these are normal. Okay, that looks fine. Oh, it's Slival? My bad. Yeah, that's on me. I'm gonna mute real quick. Okay. Oh, that's odd. These games are very out of order. Alright. So what I'm going to say, unfortunately, Slam and Slival, if you two can maybe possibly figure this out, I think we should probably jump into the other loser 7th set first. Because this appears to be very wrong. Even the order, like, I can't really tell which game is which. So, yeah. Alright, so instead, we've got... If I can press the right thing. I hope I spelled that right. Alright, and I'm actually not sure if this is the right character, but I'm banking on it being right. Slival, if you can take a look at it and figure out what went wrong, I'd really appreciate it. And also, do me a solid, and I don't know if you were... Never mind, you guys... Also, if you guys can give slightly more distinctive names than just game 1, 2, 3, 4, I'd appreciate it, because I get a lot of files like that, and I have to go back and rename them all. But yeah, if you can figure that out, I'd appreciate it, for sure. In the meantime, we're going to jump into Caseratis versus Duazen. Let me just take a sec to find them. Caseratis? Yeah, probably. It probably is Caseratis. So, interestingly, Caseratis said he was going to go random in pools, and he went random. I'm just going to say that up front. So if it seems like Kaiser's playing a little weird. Probably because I can't actually guarantee he knows how to play a single one of the characters he's about to play. I sure hope he does, for his sake. But I can't guarantee anything. I'm pretty sure he's an Edalus main, which is why I had Edalus up originally. But yeah, he's playing Rano. So Rano Maple, I haven't really ever seen this MU, so I'm curious as to how it goes, because I'm not overly familiar with either of these characters. Especially Maple. So far as Kaiser going for a lot of the tongue punishes and landing quite a few of them. Yeah. It's a pretty good first stock. Ooh, but Duazen managing to get that. And decent follow-up from the bubble, just kind of running up, F-tilting, and getting a clean 50%. Yep. Ooh, and we got a or was that a 3-stack bubble? I think Hayes are getting to get a decent amount of pressure there and getting down tilt up strong. So far, it's done a pretty decent job keeping Duazen on his toes. It feels like aside from the occasional wrap and the occasional lily, Duazen hasn't been able to do a ton so far. Oh, but as I say that, in the down strong, not getting a ton off of it though. He's going for up air 1 strings. Ooh, nice forward air. Just kind of going straight for him. I feel like Duazen's getting a bit better at going on the aggression here. Getting punished there for the up special. Yeah, and that was a really nice string right there, using the down air, just kind of pop him to the side. Game 1 going to Duazen's Maple. Game 2. For sure. And, I hate Ori's art so much. But I gotta stay consistent. But yeah, Ori HD art is not very good. But my dislike of Ori and the character art aside, getting into this matchup. So for Arcades, you're not really getting a ton. Ori can really take just straight hits into insane damage. One of the biggest draws of the character, and so far we haven't seen him really do that. And instead just landing the team up strongs and taking the stock super early. And that was an interesting punish instead of actually punishing, going for the Lily parry. I wonder if he was going for the Lily parry and then when he didn't get it, it was just like, yeah, I guess I'll take this. Yep. And going for the Lily follow-ups, but teching out. Getting a little greedy from Duazen there. Yeah, I'm not even getting the team up that time, though. And, oh, just going off stage with the up air is definitely something you hate to see Ori do. It's a terrifying situation to be in. I will check. I'm going to go off commentary for a second then to check the replays. So, Ken J, carry it. Ooh, coming in strong. How the adaptations go. In the Maple Ditto. Oh, man. This is an interesting set for sure. God, they're just kind of having fun with this tournament, I guess. Maple Ditto's on Spirit Tree. Not really sure what to make of this, I'm going to be honest. Yeah, although I think it's interesting, barring Claren players, I haven't seen a single Rivals player. Well, actually, that's not entirely true. But I feel like the overwhelming consensus for every Rivals player except Claren is that Dittos are awful. Which is kind of just because the characters tend to be so gimmicky and wild. Oh, I'm so sorry, guys. Oh, that's my fault. Yeah, that's my bad for accidentally turning off game audio for a bit there. I was just trying to check something with the replays, and I kind of forgot to turn it back on. Oops. Yeah, that was dumb. I am clearly very scatterbrained today. So far, Caseratis keeping it even though he's playing in the Ditto on a character he doesn't main. It's a really weird set. So Slival, I'll check to make sure these replays are good once we're done this set, by the way. Alright. Let's see if Duazen can get a nice little confirm here. Oh, there we... That was a really slick little string there.
Yeah, that was. And that was an especially good weight there on the right platform.
Yeah.
Make sure sealing that stock. That was a great mix-up.
Recovery. Duazen is forced to go for a lot of really high commitment recoveries here because he didn't have the markup. And he's just kind of holding center stage. I really like Duazen's use of the down air. He's really getting overzealous on the ground here, and Duazen's kind of using that to his advantage and keeping the pressure up.
Caseratis just relying on the fundamentals, but it was definitely not enough.
Not enough indeed. It's kind of
playing better than Caseratis did.
Yeah. Although I guess it kind of makes sense if you're counterpicking to your opponent's character.
Absolutely.
And this time, yet again, a very different type of character coming through. Oh, make that HD. On game 4, going back to Spirit Tree yet again, I guess that kind of makes sense. This stage can be really, really deadly for Claren in the right situations. So,
Absolutely.
and almost getting the kill there. If that DI was a little worse, Duazen might have lost the stock at just 50%.
Yeah, Claren can just kind of throw out hitboxes at the ledge. It doesn't really matter which angle your opponent's trying to recover from. Just throw out back airs and big hitboxes, and Claren can edgeguard pretty effectively on this stage.
Yeah. Alright, but Duazen getting the first stock, regardless of that early lead Kazer.
Indeed.
I feel like I'm definitely pronouncing this wrong. What a day. Alright, and Duazen delaying the recovery there. Kind of keeping him on his toes. Let's see here. He's definitely doing a really good job kind of going on the aggressive at mid-range in a way that's really hard where Duazen can't actually challenge him very effectively. He's actually right past him.
The spacing is really interesting coming out from Caseratis and this Claren.
Yeah. And then a tipper on the up special. We're just barely slipping past that forward strong. Let's see if Duazen can get anything here. Not quite enough from that mark. Oh, not quite getting the follow-up from down air that time, though. I definitely like the idea. Again, you know, Caseratis is staying so grounded and kind of just going for a lot of up tilts and such. It makes sense.
Yeah, I definitely agree. I really like the idea, and it was just kind of unfortunate right there for Duazen that Caseratis just kind of threw out a hitbox and killed him.
Not able to make it back. We got one stock apiece here. See if Kaser can keep it going and maybe roll the dice one more time.
Duazen did a really good job trying to mix up his approaches right now, and I guess with having the range that Claren does is kind of what you have to do once you get into this part of the set.
Yeah. And he's kind of slowly approaching with up tilts. Very slowly approaching with the tilts. Oh, but going for the forward air.
See if he can exploit the recovery off stage.
Oh, just barely missing the up strong. That's unfortunate. See if this... He's doing a really good job recovering really far in a spot where Duazen can't hit him, but it's not quite enough to not get double F strongs. Game 4, and the set going to Duazen.
That landing to center stage might have been just a little questionable at the end, but I completely agree that the mix-ups at the ledge were really good in terms of mixing up where he was going to land on the recovery. But all in all, Duazen's Maple adapting to all those random matchups, so kudos to Duazen.
Absolutely. So now we can actually get into the set I wanted to start, that being SlamDunksville versus Slival. Oh, wait. Okay. Actually, maybe I need to try this. Let me actually make sure then. This is not just the same thing. No, never mind. I done goofed. Take a quick trip to downloads. Okay. We got triple checked replays coming in here. So, hopefully. Let me just check something real quick. Alright. Alright, yeah, I'm gonna say this is probably right. So, gonna swap. I think that's right. And we are good to go at long last. Oh, and that was almost a devastating SD coming in from Slam right at the start of game 1. That would have been a really bad start.
Yeah, absolutely. So, yeah, kudos for him finding a way back so quickly, because that was definitely a tricky situation.
Yeah. Alright, and Slival going on the aggressive here. That is something Raster can do really effectively, is just kind of control that ground space, but Slam hitting him with the up strong. This is definitely a very weird matchup. You have the lightest character versus one of the heaviest. This thing's gonna be very, very uncomfortable.
Wow. You know, Slival's Raster being really quick and aggressive, and Craig maybe a little more defensive and just trying to land those stray hits or those raw smash attacks.
Yeah, like that. I mean, like, if he landed that right, it probably would have killed. So, and in some regards, considering Slam does have a decently respectable lead, it's a risk that's fairly worth taking.
Yeah, it kind of seems like
just barely missing.
This game 1 is what we're going to see probably for the majority of this set.
Yeah.
Style.
And I'm missing the parry. So I'm doing a good job of kind of mixing up how he throws the rocks. And so far, Slival not having a great job with his kill confirms.
And then Commentator's Curse. Seems like he lands a strong
something right away.
The stage. Ooh, very nice rock coming out from Slam Dunks.
Yeah, I'm not quite getting anything off of it. So just going for the forward strong. I respect it. But sometimes you just kind of got to go for it.
Yeah, I feel like both of these characters, even in their own respects, are really good at just kind of going for certain things.
Yeah. And so I'm using the side special to just kind of power on the stage. See if he can wall out Slival and just give this game a clean end. Oh, and he does. Slival not timing the parry quite right.
Yeah, that reverse up B hitbox definitely takes, I don't know, I thought might have been a questionable option right there. And yeah, SlamDunks was just able to capitalize on that, take game 1.
Yeah. Game 2 going to Endless Abyss. I'm interested in what Slival's thought process is here. I guess maybe the bigger blast zones equals living longer. Meanwhile, Raster's, the way his skill confirms work, are a little less susceptible to big blast zones. That might be what the logic is. I would generally...
if it gives SlamDunks fewer rock options. I know he wasn't using the platforms much on Heels Fail. I wonder if that maybe is playing a factor as well.
Possibly. Easier to punish the recovery. Okay. Ah, so you don't want him to land on platforms with the spin dash. Okay, I guess that makes sense. And Slival missing the tech, leading to his demise there. Oh, and Slam trying to do him dirty, but being able to wall jump. Yeah, I mean, a lot of the times when you're making choices like that, it's kind of a soul for a soul situation, where you can try to make it harder for the opponent at the cost of making it a little harder for yourself. Definitely in Decision, I as Shovel Knight have to weigh a lot, because no stage is actually, like, good for Shovel Knight. There's just some that are good, and, like, 1 or 2 that are not good. Not even bad, just not good. So I definitely get that, having to sort of weigh your options and figure out what am I willing to sacrifice to try to gimp the opponent's options. Unless they go to Treetop. Sometimes they just go to Treetop. Every stage is Raster's favorite.
Perfect stage for certain characters.
Yeah, and Slam, yet again, using that down air to start some of this pressure. And did he buffer another F-Strong there? Definitely something to watch out for in the Raster matchup is that if he slipstreams at the right time, you can kind of buffer that option, and then Raster can come in and punish you. And with Raster's punish game being as explosive as it is, that can really spell doom sometimes. Nice maneuverability from Slam, just kind of going around that down special and landing the fair.
Absolutely. Pretty slick for a heavy character.
Yeah. But Slival not letting him get away with that for free. And the parry up B.
Interesting use of the slipstream down below the stage to destroy the rock wall.
The co-commentator is Kenji, guys. Alright, and that's going to be game 2 going to Slam. 1 game away from victory.
Yeah, what'd you kind of see that was different in game 2 compared to that game 1?
I feel like a little bit more of Slival kind of going for low recoveries and then not being super... Oh no, the early SD coming in from Slam. Something we almost saw game 1.
Absolutely, but it looks like right now SlamDunks is going more aggressive to try and make up some of that percentage deficit.
Yeah.
Some very great reads coming out from Slival.
Yeah. So I'm doing a good job kind of pressuring those side platforms using the rock shards. Just kind of make it a nightmare for Slival to get back. Definitely, I'd say one of the things that Kai probably has in this matchup is that it's not super difficult to punish a lot of Raster's options. You can just kind of cover a lot of horizontal space.
Right, yeah, it just seems like oftentimes where SlamDunks is just throwing his rocks a certain angle, it's covering a couple of different options.
Yeah. Oh, that was an interesting gimp.
Yeah, that was kind of dirty.
Oh, and apparently I messed up the score of that game. Okay. Going into game 4 now. The score should be correct this time. Yeah, it is. Alright.
It looks like Slival, yeah, took game 3 decisively with the 3-stock.
Yeah. A few flubs coming in from Slam. Yeah, Raster's a bit of a tricky character. Definitely a level like this. You know, Krag can sometimes just kind of go for fairs and strong attacks and just kill you at 50 and it, you know, be like that. Slam jumping out of the way of that forward strong. Interesting, but yeah, and Slival just going for the F strong. Managing to take out Slam's first stock.
The place where the up special was used was far enough away from the stage where it put a little more pressure on Slam Dunks to get back.
Yeah, that was a really close call there on the pillar. Slam had done that just a little bit earlier. Slival probably would not have his third stock or his first stock right now. I feel like one of the things Slam's not really been doing too effectively this set is dealing with Slipstream. It seems like Slival's mostly just getting them up for free, and Slam is very rarely avoiding them. He's kind of just getting tagged by that all the time. Like right there, right? You know, messing up his rock pulls. Not really getting any parries. So in general, Slival's been able to keep up Slipstream just whenever he wants. That's been a big problem right now, because Slival can kind of just run over you if he has it up. Especially as Krag.
Right.
I'm getting a little greedy there, just kind of going up for the F special.
Everything's where Slival seems... Wow, that was a really great hard read right there.
Yeah.
Forward strong. Knew the timing on that. But I guess what I was going to say is it seems like Slam Dunk some of the time is getting cornered by his own rocks, and Slival's kind of taking advantage of that in certain situations, just based off of the rock spacing.
True, yeah. Slam trying to use down special to control some of that ground in space, though Slival kind of just waiting and then running through it all. Oh, just barely getting out of the way of F strong there. Slam's definitely getting a little hungry for the kills right now. He's kind of fishing for those strong attacks, and that is not a good sign. If this goes to a game 5, you have to wonder, is Slam's mental game going to be a little bit shattered? No pun intended.
Yeah.
I'm not funny.
Right there. But yeah, we're seeing quite an adaptation coming out from Slival right now. Definitely, particularly, I would say, in some of those ledge interactions, just really able to exploit and predict when Slam Dunks is trying to get back.
Yeah, we see Slam coming in with the music and stage skin counter pick. Let's see if that can spell success for him here. One thing I will say I like from Slival is that I think he's been doing a phenomenal job of kind of putting Slam in the air and then just keeping him there. Like when you see Slam get placed above Slival, it's just a nightmare for him to get down.
Absolutely. Yeah, Krag definitely struggles to land a little bit more than some of the other Rivals characters.
Yeah, just that slow airspeed. And what the... Was that a up strong? I didn't really see what he got hit by there. But yeah, he just kind of got obliterated.
Yeah, and Slam Dunks is doing a good job of calling out certain strong attacks, like that up strong. We've seen that a couple of times this set already, and was able to get it again here in Game 5.
Yeah, definitely seeming a lot more in control this game than the last game. Only the last 2 games. And getting to a 2-stock lead right now. Things are looking a little dire for Slival, with Raster being as light as he is. You know, even at this low percent, Slam getting a little too aggressive there. But still, this is a huge mountain for Slival to climb. Because, like, Raster can obliterate stocks, but I feel like Slival hasn't really been taking stocks super early. Right, a lot of the early stocks have really just been Slam, not exactly SDing, but kind of just having awkward off-stage interactions. Right, Slival's been doing a good job staying on the aggressive and getting a lot of neutral wins. but Slam doesn't really need as many neutral wins to take the stocks, and that's really been coming in clutch in this game in particular. But evening up, this game actually isn't too bad right now. This mountain's starting to look a little bit more like a hill.
Yeah, it just seems like it's going back and forth all here in Game 5.
Yeah.
That all over the place compared to, 2 games apiece for each of these players earlier.
I'm looking a little bit nervous right here. I'm sure Slam would be a little nervous too, though. Oh, just barely living that. And
yeah, I don't got the DI right there, but nevertheless, SlamDunks is able to get back and maintain ledge control. Is he able to clutch it out?
Let's see. This is proving to be a very, very close set. Hitting a lot of really close sets so far, and that is going to take it. Damn.
Wow.
That
very
was
special.
Yeah. That was a really great game from both players right there.
Yeah, I really enjoyed that matchup. Something a little different than what we're used to seeing, and just seeing some back and forth adaptations at different rates. Yeah, again, very good stuff to both players, and it seems like SlamDunks was just barely able to hold on to the lead. But again, give it to Slival because he was really able to bring that back. And I think with just a little bit more practice in a few situations, he can begin to learn how to take more advantage of that and move on in the future.
Yeah. So I'm thinking we can jump into... You want to continue with losers or jump into winners finals first?
Let's go ahead and continue with losers, I'd say.
Okay. So next up, we are going to have the return of SRN Snakebandit. Actually, never mind. We'll do it the other way around. Sorry, Snake. I know you probably want to see your games, but I want to keep character diversity up. So we're going to have Duazen versus HAMEES. I feel like, I'm sorry, if I'm pronouncing everyone's name wrong tonight, I apologize. Please correct me like you did with Slival, because I absolutely need it. That's assuming, okay, yeah, no, wait, we should have these. So, Duazen versus HAMEES. I am gonna put a few games in real quick, by the way. Also gonna try to put in that, Slam versus Snake. And also winners finals. If I can, yeah. Okay. Hope y'all like the Wii music, by the way.
You're Blaze Blue.
Yeah.
Very nice.
What just got replaced here? Oh, did I? Oh, that's my... Okay, that makes sense. Unzipping files have already unzipped. I apologize for the stream going on pretty long. It looks like we're in for the long haul tonight. Lots of Game 5 stats. Not really any... Not any, 3-0s yet, either. That was wrong. That makes a lot of sense. Okay. Down. And one more for right now. If I can, there we go. there we go. Should be just about good to jump into this. So I find the sets. I'm just making sure this is game 1. Okay. I believe we are good here. Just making sure we're in order. Alright, I believe we are.
Alright, right in here on the part again.
Yep.
Think about this matchup.
What do I'm not super familiar with this matchup. I haven't really seen a ton of Maples. It's pretty much been just like Jai and I guess Duazen and Corpse Fat's picking up Maple from what I hear. But yeah, not a whole lot of Maple. I will say, both of these characters can have some really devastating kill confirms. So I'd imagine that at mid percents like that, we can kind of see characters just blow up without too much warning.
Right. Maple, I think, will obviously be a little more evasive compared to Zetterburn. Absolutely. At the same time, I guess it's a matter of timing the aggression, I feel like, is going to be absolutely key between these two.
Yeah.
Yeah, it kind of seems like right now...
I'm missing the tech. He's kind of running away with this game 1 a little bit.
Yeah, he's kind of able to pressure free with a lot of the fire moves.
Yeah.
Now one stock. Really still a pretty commanding lead here by HAMEES.
Yep.
Looks to have the mark set up. Yeah, and HAMEES is just trying to juggle Duazen for the most part.
And he's almost, Duazen almost SDing there. And yeah, almost costing his stock, getting punished for it. HAMEES definitely, he and Maze mixed up, I'm sorry. Duazen definitely is seeming a little bit shaky right now in this MU. I feel like Zetter kind of just has a really heavy damage output that Duazen's having a hard time keeping up with. But HAMEES just barely missing the ledge there.
Ended up being a really good mark into the forward smash. It was just enough knockback to get HAMEES into a rough situation trying to get back.
But running up and landing that up strong is going to get game 1 going to HAMEES. And we're actually going to see, if I'm not mistaken here, a character switch. Duazen definitely not feeling too comfortable in this matchup, so I'm going to go to the Rano.
Very interesting counter pick. Okay.
Yeah. So I wonder, and yeah, I was actually going to say, I wonder if Duazen's going to go for a more stalling needle camp strat, and right off the bat, we're already seeing a ton of needles coming out from Duazen, and just kind of standing back. I find it interesting that he would go to treetop here. I feel like if you're going to needle camp, you probably want to expand the space you can run away on instead of shrink it down. I wonder if there's some kind of setup he has on the stage that he likes going for.
Yeah, I kind of wonder that too. I feel like there are a lot of Ranos that still really like.
Going really aggressive there.
And yeah, that was a really good, good edge guard scenario.
Yeah, great edge guards. Duazen definitely feeling a lot more comfortable, or seeming a lot more comfortable here. See, and punishing the up strong with the tongue.
Man, going for another down air right there.
Yeah.
Doesn't matter, able to confirm into a raw up smash, or up strong.
Let's see, Duazen seems a little more even now. Oh, that could be bad. Alright. I'm just trying to get a little bit more defensive there for a second. You saw him kind of run away and charge needles. But now he's going back on the aggressive, interestingly enough. Let's see what he goes for this edge guard. Getting counter hit there. See, oh, and he's just running up and hitting him with the up strong.
Maintaining all kinds of stage control, and you kind of wonder if the Treetop Lodge kind of has something to do with it in terms of not having as much space to run around here for this Rano.
Yeah. So we've only seen you go against Snake so far. We're gonna do this and the other set of losers quarters, and then do winners finals after that. So you have a bit of time. We've had a lot of really long sets tonight and a handful of technical difficulties, so the pace has been a little slower than I'd like it to be. Duazen not in a great spot right now. Oh, but getting the parry. He could definitely bring this back, but he's in a really risky spot. Oh, but HAMEES off stage. Not a great spot for Zetterburn. Oh, and missing the low recovery.
Yeah, there was just a ton of stage pressure right there.
Yeah.
By Duazen, just maintaining that control. Yeah, just getting HAMEES to mix it up, and that was enough to take game 2.
Right. And again, seeing Duazen kind of start off with needle camping before going for a lot of aggressive dash attacks. I definitely think if Duazen's gonna go for the strategy of trying to needle camp, which it pretty clearly is what his counter pick is intended for, I'm kind of surprised I'm almost surprised not to see him do it a little bit more and kind of get more defensive. He definitely seems very eager to stay aggressive and just kind of keep going in. And I'm not sure how much I entirely understand the logic there. Might just be a case of like, I want to camp, but I also think it'd be cool to be aggressive.
Yeah, some of the play style, particularly for Duazen and how he plays Reno. Yeah, I would maybe on paper it would be in some scenarios maybe a little smarter to play more defensively, but at the same time, Duazen's doing a great job calling out some of these recovery angles from the Zetterburn.
He's doing a great job keeping HAMEES off stage and taking a lot of kills from edge guards. It's been really the X factor since switching to Rano. Right, like HAMEES can get these smash attacks on stage, but Duazen's just so good at pushing HAMEES off and keeping up that pressure off stage.
Absolutely. To answer Sallgood's question here in chat, he's wondering how much.
Yeah, I mentioned it to him.
Oh, you did. Okay, sorry.
It's all good. Yeah.
No pun intended.
I just say it without thinking.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah. That's how he intends, though. Alright. I think... I definitely feel like Duazen being a little reckless about running into these fire puddles. Obviously, you know, you can run into the fire puddles. It is sometimes better to keep up the aggression and go into the puddles than to try to play around them. But I feel like Duazen's doing that a lot, and there have been a handful of times where he's gotten hard punished like that, or he's just gotten really close to being hard punished for it. So it's hard to say whether or not the risk is truly worth it.
Yeah, the fire can be really costly, but I wonder if some of the time, even though it hasn't worked out in every situation, I wonder if Duazen kind of wonders if he just goes in, if the damage output's going to end up being more on HAMEES.
Right, I mean, right, if he can land the dash attack, it is. If he can keep advantage state. Just again, it's a really risky situation. That's not something I'm sure... Right, like, I feel like if you got the fire puddle up, I mean, that could even be a good time to just kind of needle camp a bit. And I will say, while Duazen's recovery, edge guarding has been phenomenal, oh my god, I can't talk. It's been really good, but he's had a really tough time when HAMEES kind of recovers right at the lip of the stage. Most of the times he's gone for the up B punishes, he's gotten hit back. It's not really going to matter when you can just land the raw F-strongs on stage.
Yeah, no kidding. There were a couple situations right there that I thought maybe HAMEES could get a bigger punish off of, and Duazen was just still able to run right up to him and land those smash attacks.
Yeah. Alright, so... let's see what we got this time. Interesting stage pick from HAMEES. I wonder if he just feels like he's not taking advantage of Platz as much. I think that's probably fair.
And I feel like the game for HAMEES, he was getting particularly a lot of horizontal pressure, and so I kind of wonder if the absence of those platforms will really help him with that particular part of the game again.
Perhaps, yeah. Oh, and Duazen's kind of getting aggressive and getting really, really hungry for those F-strongs. Oh, and he tries to space it out that time. Definitely a good attempt. At the very least, he's not getting hit back by it. And yeah, HAMEES just kind of running up and getting the up strong.
Great call out.
Alright, this is potentially HAMEES' last game in this tournament, so it's something I'll have to be careful about. Really important that he doesn't lose here. Meeting him with the back air and just running up and up stronging. Definitely one of those situations where going in the fire puddle is absolutely worth it. Probably a misinput on the tongue right there.
We've seen a lot of that defensive play with the tongue from Duazen.
Yeah.
And then going up.
He's got a little greedy there. And Duazen kind of starting a bit of a Rana string, keeping HAMEES in the air and pushing him off stage. And yeah, that might be it. HAMEES suddenly going from being in a good spot to a not so good one.
Yeah, this is potentially looking like his tournament stock right here.
Yeah, for sure.
Okay, setting up the down special.
Yeah. Oh, and again, just barely whiffing that up strong. You really hate to see it.
Yeah.
Especially as Duazen just kind of racking up the damage. These aren't looking too great here. HAMEES managing to even out the stocks at the very least. This is absolutely doable. Not easy, but ouch. That's all I can really say to that one.
The last part of that game 4, HAMEES was starting to reverse the momentum a little bit, especially with the down special being placed. Really seemed to go more in his favor compared to Duazen's on like game 3. But ultimately, there's just too much percentage on HAMEES, and Duazen just able to get it.
Yeah, it was a little too much to come back from, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Definitely.
We're starting to... No, it's okay.
So now we are going to have SlamDunksville versus Snakebandit. Let me just make sure. Starting in the right spot. Snake, did you upload this? Because it looks like you didn't upload it properly. Or maybe I'm stupid. Oh, never mind. No, that's not you. Huh. No, that might... Snakebandit, if you're here, yeah. You appear to be missing one of the games. So... And I'm assuming it's game 1. Because I don't see any potential game 1s here. Oh, wait. That's interesting. Apparently I have this twice. Huh. Alright, I guess I might have done something wrong here. Oh, never mind. No, I have... That's awkward. So, yeah, apparently all my replays... I have 2 of them now. Make sure you're not in a game. You are... Oh, never mind. Never mind. Alright. Actually, that's probably... No, wait. I'm not sure. Okay. What to do. Gotta love the replay struggles. Actually, who? Alright, let me make sure then that I at least have... So I guess we are actually going to skip this for now, unfortunately. What fun. Alright, so instead we are going to jump right into Winners Finals here. So yeah, so versus Edelis. And yeah. Alright. I'm gonna assume this is right here. It certainly looks like it's right. So we're gonna jump into Winners Finals until we can get the other losers quarter set figured out. So starting off here we have Sil versus Edelis. A little heavies matchup here. This is going to be interesting because both of these characters want to control a lot of ground space. And it's going to be interesting to see kind of how they both go about working around the other stage control.
Like so far Sallgood's getting more of his setups to go, but it looks like Jharlembuschk has his hammer on deck, so it's gonna be a while before we see a stock.
Yeah.
Stock blast.
He armoring through the backer. Oh, and so I'm not in the right spot there to dodge. I'm doing a good job of kind of just bringing this back, keeping the armor up, which is really good because a lot of Sil's kill options are less than stellar. At this point, you're mostly going to have to rely on backers if you can't land any upstrongs or forward strongs. And with the armor, backer doesn't do a whole lot. Just barely whiffing it there. So I'm getting very, very antsy to land one of these backers. Understandably so. It's a very fun way to edgeguard, and oh, Jharlembuschk getting a little overzealous there. I mean, I'll be interested to see how Jharlembuschk plays versus a bit more of a defensive character. So when we saw him play versus HAMEES, he kind of just went in a lot, and so did HAMEES, and with both of them kind of just going ham, they could both kind of punish a lot of what each other did. I'm not so sure that's going to be the case this time around.
Absolutely. Yeah, very different matchup from what I was seeing both last week and today so far for Jharlembuschk.
Yeah. I mean, interestingly enough, when you actually think about it, we've only seen Jharlembuschk play in the last 2 weeks 2 different matchups. But they are extremely different matchups, and with a handful of different players. So, it's still interesting to see how he handles all of them.
Absolutely.
Also, shout out to Saul for repping the CK Sylve this time around. I don't think we've seen any CK Sylves yet today, or CK skins in general yet today. And that down special. Oh, and Jharlem managing to get the armor up again.
The up special spike. Wow. Very nice.
Yeah.
Yeah, Sallgood was put in a really uncomfortable situation right there. Now, compared to the first part of this game, it seems like Jharlem has a little more stage control.
It's an interesting option, kind of going for the run-up down strong, not really going for anything too true off of it. And
I like the Sallgood, it's just unfortunate that he still got hit by the down special anyway.
yeah. Saul definitely has a bit of a lead here, but Edelus kind of is a bit more of a, I'm just going to kind of rip you off and steal games type of character. This could absolutely go either way, especially with the armor up now.
Right. Yeah, he's at 169 and he's not going anywhere.
Yeah. These juggles are, seems like the up airs are almost unsafe on hit for Saul. It's really bad because that's one of the best spots for him to have Edelus, not just letting him get the armor. Something you really have to be careful of.
Too hesitant.
Ooh, and just barely getting the tech there, and taking the game with the dash attack. Good stuff from Sallgood. Very tight game one.
Very nice clutch counterplay there at the end from Sallgood, because it looked like, once again, Jharlem just pulling up the hammer whenever he wanted and getting the edge guard situation. Looked pretty dire, but Sallgood able to, to win game one.
Yeah. So Rockwall is definitely an interesting stage for Edelus. It's probably one of his overall better stages. This is a good stage for Sylva too. I definitely think there's going to be a good amount of overlap in what stage these characters like. Given that, you know, they're both a lot about kind of setting up ground control and using that to press their advantages and their neutral games. So realistically, like, for both of these players, counterpicking is kind of just going to be a matter of preference, I think, more so than trying to make your opponent uncomfy.
Right. Maybe conventional, something that would throw your opponent off. Could maybe? I mean, only to a certain extent, of course. Once again, Jharlem getting the hammer just pretty much for free, it seems like. Sallgood maybe respecting it a little more than I think maybe he should. You know, try and maybe space it out.
To his credit, he did do a great job of just kind of shredding through the armor before Jharlem could actually do much. And getting the kill off the jab. I mean, it was 180 on Rockwall, but still. Kind of funny to see.
That is a good point.
Ooh, and Jharlem just chasing him down and getting the up strong.
Very even set so far.
Yeah. Ooh. Oh! He just stole that stock! Oh my god, Saul, you absolute monster.
That was a very clutch back air.
Yeah, back air snipes on Rockwall are just, they're insane. Definitely one of the best parts of playing Sylva on the stage. It's just back air puts on such scary pressure.
Yeah, you can use those platforms to your advantage too to just set up the back air. More advantageous positions.
And also the summer guard to try to kind of stall out with Bear a little bit. Not something we've seen Saul do a ton. It is something that's kind of become weaker for Sylv in the most recent patch. But it is an option to some degree. Anything off of the How, but using the down air to try to extend the combo. And yet again, just going for that super high back air snipe. And Jharlem looking to possibly be on his winner's side game right now.
Absolutely. Yeah, some very clutch play, very situational awareness, very good situational awareness coming out from Sallgood in these last two games.
Absolutely. Alright, so again, one of those stages, pretty good for both characters. I'd say this might actually be a little bit Edelus favored, as it's sometimes hard to position flowers well on the stage. The platforms are going to do more for Edelus than they are for Sylv, in my opinion.
Absolutely. I think the way that the platforms are spread out here on Merchant Port, / the Swamp Estuary, really is at advantage for throwing down icicles, kind of like we saw right there, and getting
Yeah,
that hammer as well.
and damn, that edge guard just kind of throwing out a bunch of big scary kill moves, and eventually one of them lands, taking out Saul's first stock. Interesting to see Saul actually go for the parry on the down B, considering it doesn't really do anything. Definitely one of those things you just kind of have to respect when he goes for it, and then punish accordingly, like there. And let's see, Saul really going for the bears and the seeds to try to keep Jharlem up high when recovering.
Yeah, but Jharlem did a really great job.
That was a really scary situation for Saul, just barely missing the punish and almost losing a stock for it. And if he got that seed snipe, that would have been amazing. I love seed snipes so much.
Yeah, that really would have. It was really close.
And Saul getting a little more conservative on when he goes for the bears right now. I think he's realizing, alright, I'm fishing too much. I really just need to figure out how to take this stock. Even at 229, it seems like he doesn't really have an answer. And with the armor up, it's hard to say if there is one right now.
Interesting that chart to keep Sallgood at bay with the spacing right there. But nevertheless, Sallgood able to seal that first stock.
Yep. Good spacing on the fair, kind of managing to keep his pressure a little bit, going for some silver advantage state stuff.
And there was a situation where we saw the back air fishing again. Just wasn't quite able. So yeah, it definitely looks like that's how he's adapted. He's trying to be a little more unpredictable with that.
I like that use of Howl. Instead of trying to really challenge the ground pound in any way, just use Howl to kind of dissuade him from howling, ground pounding where there's grass. And good follow-up off of the down strong there. Saul's in a really scary position right now. Yeah, Dacus kind of just comes in and beats him. And going for the B-Sass up strong, we actually haven't seen Saul go for that compared to a lot of the silves we saw last week. He hasn't really gone for it at all.
Yeah, kind of thing. He's using aerial spacing as well as the pedal wave spacing.
Yeah, kind of just trying to control space with Bear and Fair. Getting a lot of his kills off, mostly just his aerials. And, we haven't actually seen Howl down strong too much this set, now that I think about it. Unlike in his earlier set with HAMEES, I want to say it was. I'm forgetting who he played in Winners. Actually, no, it wasn't HAMEES. It was
the arcade player.
Yeah, it was Snake. Right, my bad. Memory is not the best all the time, but yeah, definitely a lot less of that confirm coming in here. And ooh. Oh, that was an unfortunate ending to Game 3 there.
Jharlem really using his specials to his advantage sometimes. He's just throwing out the hammer, or in that case, throwing out down special. Even at the ledge, getting the up special spikes. Seems to really allow for good kill confirms.
Yeah, and he's kind of just like, he just kind of forces you to respect him. And that being said, Saul generally does a good job of doing that right there. I think he just assumed that the platform would stop it. Which, yeah, I probably would have too, to be honest. We're gonna see how this stage becomes advantage. I think, again, conversely, last game I said I think Estuary is a bit better for Edelist. I would say Capital's probably a little bit better for Sylph. Just having that ground space and, the platform's pressure with up air and up strong.
Yes. I think particularly the ground space just does a little bit more for Sylph than it does for Edelist. Granted, it's important for both characters, but yeah, the way both those stages you were talking about leaning, there's certain ways, I completely agree with that.
And yet again, just kind of getting clipped by the ice right there. Being put in a pretty uncomfortable spot. Saul continuing to stay a bit more on the aggressive. I think at this point he's just really desperate to get the ice off, and he succeeds. Oh, and manages to snipe one with the bear before getting hit by icicles. It's a good first stock from Sallgood.
Absolutely. Again, we're seeing just really good spacing there in the corners of the blast zones, in those top corners. Very excellent ways to clutch out some stocks.
Yeah, for sure. Oh, and good from Jharlem, trying to cover both sides of him. I don't think that would have hit if Saul came in. But still a good read nonetheless. Taking the stock. And Jharlem really just sliding up with the hammer.
I like the use.
He does it again, and he gets away with it this time.
But yeah, once again, Jharlem just able to reverse the situations, just calling out those uses of the hammer.
Yeah, it is kind of interesting because I do feel like, I kind of do rag on a lot of the players a little bit for just letting them get away with it. But I also kind of can understand, like, if you have big ice polar bear just, swinging in front of you, it is scary. And if your action times aren't the best, your first thought might not be to challenge the big scary ice polar bear trying to destroy the ground in front of you.
Right, oftentimes the first thought might be, like don't mess this up, or, something along those lines, because it's really easy to, if you're off just a little bit on the timing, to get hard punished.
Yeah, it's definitely a scary move. And, Saul managing to land yet another bear snipe. It's definitely been his bread and butter for taking kills this set. And it's been working out quite well. This has remained a pretty even game. Oh, that was a really close situation for Saul. Not following up with the chomp. Definitely think he missed out on a chance to press advantage right there.
Yeah, I was maybe a little bit surprised to not see the up special come out from Jharlem right there in that situation. Kind of surprised to see the down special instead, but
yeah.
All in all, very lucky that Sallgood was able to get out of that disadvantage.
Ooh, and Saul going for the custom ice armor combos. Managing to stay alive there thanks to the platform. Oh, good DI. That could have been a really bad situation. And so could this. But Jharlem's punish game, just not quite good enough. That's definitely been the sort of X factor in a lot of these players being able to keep it even with Jharlem, is that his punish game just isn't quite up to snuff. And Saul's managing to take it with the up strong.
That up strong is a very nice back pocket option, given the fact that we haven't seen that even come out at all this whole entire set right there until game 4. Very nice mix-up right there by Sallgood.
Alright, so what I think we're going to do here is we're going to hop back into losers quarters, and because we don't appear to have game 1, we're just going to skip game 1. So hopefully that's not too big of an issue for anyone. Still should hopefully get some pretty good rivals coming out here. I can spell here.
Trying to get last time.
So yeah, we're gonna be starting on game 2, it seems. Yeah, okay. So that score is wrong, by the way, obviously. So game 1 went to Snakebandit. And I need to swap. So I think the overlay is right now. So Slam instantly counterpicking to Rockwall, and not working out how he hoped, I think. Obviously the big advantage of picking Crag on Rockwall is just you have moves that will obliterate the opponent. Doesn't mean a lot when you get obliterated.
Right. Yeah, just a really unfortunate Edgard situation right there for SlamDunks.
Yeah.
Those back airs can be really deadly.
Alright, definitely something that Orgame kind of just used to, keep Crag out. And
right,
bubbles in addition. You can go.
I was gonna say, not only does it combo it to itself, but then it scales at just the right percentages and kills sometimes with maybe some questionable DI, but it can kill at some surprisingly early percentages as well.
Yeah. Slam going for the classic down there up strong.
Oh yeah. Looks like Craig able to even out the stock count.
Definitely a little bit.
Situation right there. Forward tilt taking the second stock.
Yeah. I like that use of Nair there, kind of rising with the linger hitbox and getting the high rock shards.
Yeah, absolutely. Rock spacing might be a little more key in this matchup compared to the one against the Raster.
Yeah, because one of the big issues I'd imagine with this matchup for Crag is that Bubbles just kind of controls space so effectively. And I'm not really sure what kind of answers Crag would have for getting past Bubbles. Like, yeah, okay, side B, but then that's really, really reactable. Your airspeed and ground speed aren't anything to write home about.
Yeah, having a slow and punishable move, although it has armor, generally just isn't a good idea against Orcane.
Yeah, Orcane's punish game is kind of being absolutely brutal at times. Yeah, like what do you even do in this situation, right? Slam staying patient, managing to get back with the rock.
Yeah, it looks like we got somewhat of an answer right there, and a very nice forward strong.
Nice forward strong. Fortunately, Slam is really far behind. This is not looking like a great situation. And imagine if Snake had just gone for the S special there and just like player hated him.
That would have been crazy for sure.
Yeah.
Definitely in the favor of Snake right there, but at the same time, I felt like we saw just enough adaptation and enough thought going into SlamDunk's game plan that we could see some interesting adaptations.
Yeah, I mean, like, to Slam's credit, right? He got just eviscerated first stock. You know, that's not how you want to start a game. And he still played it through and still managed to keep it relatively close, right? Like, once he got past that first stock, he kind of kept trading blows pretty effectively.
I think this Craig is really the key to this is being methodical.
Oh, getting really aggressive there. He wanted it.
Yeah, those forwarders definitely helping with the edge.
Makes sense, getting a bit of revenge after what happened in game 2. And yet again, Slam seemingly his favorite kill from right there.
Yeah, I kind of wonder how much off-stage gameplay we're going to see from this Craig, because we're seeing him set up his up special, and then throwing the neutral special horizontally across the stage to kind of prevent Snake from getting much of a punish. So, yeah, I feel like that's maybe going to play a big role.
That was a great up smash.
SlamDunks is kind of figuring this out.
Yeah, one of the things that I would imagine is, like, you know, Crag edge guarding is really good, but Orca recovery has so many options that at times I'm wondering, you know, just how effective just kind of throwing rocks willy-nilly can be, like it can be in some other matchups. However, Slam's been doing a really good job of kind of hard punishing most of Snake's attempts to get back on stage. And a little slow on something in the pillar there, tried to go for the funny gimp.
And even with Arcane's recovery options, I feel like it's covering enough of him when he's throwing the rocks horizontally.
Yeah, I mean, having those horizontal rock shards is always a good option for edge guarding. It can shut down, not shut down per se, but it can really pressure like just about every character. Arcane being as slippery as he is though, it's not as effective as it would be against some more linear recoveries. Nice using that wall pillar to kind of just slip under and hard punish Snake for going for the forward strong.
Yeah, the up strong, a very nice mix-up just to counter the stage control.
Snake definitely seems to be getting a little overzealous at the moment. He sees that Slam's at high percent and just kind of wants to get those strong attacks by any means necessary. But Slam's doing a really good job of using moves that punish that and using options to stay around it. Good job. Ooh, yeah, really good job just using back air to wall out Orca.
Yeah, great call out on the DI away from the center stage.
We got a point on the board for SlamDunksville. Let's see if he can keep this momentum going.
Okay, then is this game 4 now?
This is game 4, yes.
1? Okay.
Whoa. Damn. That's an interesting way to start off the game. Slam definitely could have lived there if he had gone for a slightly different option, but, you know, it sent a message for sure. like, yeah, okay, I'm one game away from being knocked out, but I'm still gonna go for the flashy SD kills. I have to wonder, you know, what Snake's mentality would be in that situation.
Definitely a big call out for sure.
Yeah, I have to wonder if it was game 5, that probably would have been an even bigger mental blow. Because Snake, you know, does still have an advantage here. You know, getting a little cocky on that and not getting the down strong. Probably a misinput, but it does kind of feel like disrespect. I'm still getting the kill with the F-strong though. Snake having a fairly respectable lead right here. Fortress definitely gives Orca a lot more space to run away, which I can imagine is absolutely brutal for Kang to deal with. And as I was saying earlier, with just the general lack of mobility. If Orca just kind of runs away and puts down a puddle, like, what do you do?
Right. Yeah, once again, some of that methodical rock play will obviously play a big role, but at the same time, there's only so much you can do when you see parries come out from speed like that.
Yeah, Snake's been doing an amazing job at just kind of parrying the rocks and, yeah, making it hard for Slam to do anything with them. I definitely think Slam should consider trying to incorporate some delays into his play, right? As someone who does go for a lot of really read-based options, yeah, I definitely know that there are a lot of times where I have to, like, with Shovel Knight, you know, hold my F-strongs or use parry to stop my propeller dagger and kind of just punish those parries. But either way, that's going to be loser's quarters going to Snakebandit.
It didn't seem like the call-out first stock really affected Snake's mentality much at all. That was particularly...
Yeah, not really. So now we're going to be jumping into loser's semis with Snakebandit versus Duazen. Did I put this in already? I don't think I did. No, I didn't. So we have one more batch of replays to put in, as far as I know. And then we can just kind of roll through all the games. Hopefully, at least. You know, there could always be something wrong yet again. It seems to be the way a lot of these go.
Just kind of gotta roll with it.
Absolutely. And I need losers finals.
For being on top of all this, Hex, definitely much appreciated, I'm sure, for the viewers and just for being a co-commentator.
Doing what I can, you know. Okay.
Alright, looks like Kang sent in a raid with a party of 10. So.
Ooh, we got some people coming in. So to fill you guys in, we have 3 more sets. We have losers semis coming up in just a couple minutes. And then we have losers finals and grand finals. We have Jharlembuschk waiting in losers. We have Sallgood sitting in winner side grands. And coming up next, we have Snakebandit versus Duazen.
As you guys rating, just really glad that you're here to join us. Hope you guys stick around and enjoy some intermediate Code Kang gameplay.
Absolutely. That's that set. And one more thing to download, and we are good to go for the night. And for those of you who haven't seen any of my streaming this yet, yes, I have Wii Music. Don't judge me. It's good.
Plays blue for days.
Absolutely. Okay, fingers crossed that this go well. So Snakebandit, I can keep you there. Duazen, just gonna assume you're going back to the Maple. And then losers, semis. Okay, I think we are good to go here. Just gotta reset the score count, might be. And yeah, game 1 going on Far's floor.
Yeah, Snake just going very aggressively right now so far in this matchup.
Yeah, I can definitely see both these characters kind of throwing blows here. You know, they have their stage control, so if they can play around it effectively, that'll probably be a big deciding factor. Right now, Duazen has the Watcher's markup. Oh, but that was a punish. That was a punish. I don't know what else to say about that.
Very nice up special call out.
Yeah. One of the more interesting ways I've seen the punish raw up B from Maple.
Ooh, Maple getting a dash attack forward air of her own.
And trying to put up some pressure. And double parry. So far, it's been a while since Duazen's been able to get a markup on Snake. And yeah, Snake taking the early lead. 3 stocks to 1 right now. In general, I feel like Duazen hasn't really gotten anything off of Watcher's Mark. I've only had it up like once or twice. And in those times, not a whole lot has come from it.
Right, I've seen quite a few marks just barely off the mark so far here in game 1.
Right. And yeah, Snake's just doing an excellent job using the puddle to control the ledge and just not let Duazen get center stage. That's generally been one of the big deciding things in this match so far, is just how well Snake can push Duazen off stage continually. And how Duazen just can't get anything started.
Right, Snake just kind of using his puddles as he wishes in terms of follow-ups out of them.
Yeah. And the 3 stock coming in game 1 from Snake, that was not a close game.
Yeah, that's kind of a tough situation to be in, because if you recover low on the stage, then you get called out with the up special, and if you recover high, then you can get hit by the down special to up air. Definitely really good option coverage right there from Snake.
Yeah. Alright, Snake keeping the Lily parries on point, just not really letting Duazen keep any stage control. And a 0 to death to start off game 2. Wow. Snake at least seems to have the download on Duazen already.
Yeah, so far very lopsided. Interested to see the adaptation, because right now we have a mark.
Yeah.
Get some follow-ups on it.
It should be noted, as we saw versus HAMEES, Duazen does have a secondary or co-main they can swap to. So it'll be interesting to see if they decide to make the switch, and if maybe the Maple or Kane matchup is just not something they're comfortable with. For the time being, yeah.
Yeah, just kind of as we were talking about that, it seems like Duazen's really getting some beautiful conversions so far to try and take the first stock off Snake here in game 2.
Right. And Duazen's kind of running into the puddles as they pop, kind of playing into Snake's hand a little bit.
Okay, nice recovery mix-up there from Duazen.
And alright, imagine the interesting stock right there. Definitely good of Snake to kind of keep on top of those Lily parries. Of course, part of that is because Snake's almost never been a disadvantage this entire set. But still important to kind of keep it on lock. If Duazen does manage to get an advantage, you don't want that Lily set up.
Right.
Snake having a really, really good punish game. Doing an excellent job just kind of walling out with back air and making it hard for Duazen to do anything. And I think, again, this is a side effect of the fact that Duazen just hasn't had marks up very much.
Right.
Just not being able to play to any of Maple's strengths. Very impressive games.
And unfortunately, Lily hasn't really done much for Duazen either, just with all the consistent parries from Snake.
Yeah, and I'm very slow on this, because, yeah, we do see the character switch coming in from Duazen. Any Clarins? No Clarins in top 8. Really well. We had a Edelus, a Sylve, a Maple / Rano, an Orca, a random, and I'm forgetting who else right now. Oh, is that her and someone else?
Zetter, Edelus. Oh, we had a Raster.
Raster, yes. Raster and Crag. That's who I was forgetting. Yeah. I'm not sure if there were any Clarins in the other half of bracket. There might have been. I wasn't paying too much attention. Whoa, that was a string. Damn. Duazen actually managed to keep it even. So it is a good improvement already. I wonder if Duazen is potentially new to Maple or something. I actually did think up until like the other day that Duazen played Rana, so it is possible that they're trying to like pick up Maple and have a co-main perhaps, and they wanted to stick Maple this bracket, but the Rana definitely seems like them playing to win. And see, actually, you know, pressuring advantage state, unlike with Maple.
Yeah, it seems like each time Duazen switches to Rano, he seems to counterpick pretty effectively with that character.
Yeah.
That's probably the case.
For sure. Definitely respect as a fellow co-main person. Respect trying to pick up another character.
Absolutely. Yeah, I respect that a lot too.
With Snake kind of running in with the S-Strong, and yet again this game staying even, which is a big improvement from before. But with Duazen being on his potentially last game of the tournament, we're gonna have to see some really good stuff come in from his Rano.
Right, I feel like Duazen, he was going more aggressively on Zetterburn earlier, but it seems like in this one he's maybe playing just a little bit more defensively in certain situations. Still generally going in with that aggressive play style, but we are seeing lots
of dash attacks. I feel like that's been a big part of how he's been deciding to play these games, is just kind of, I'm gonna, you know, when I don't think they're gonna do anything, I'm just gonna run in and dash attack and they have to respect it. And it just barely not killing there. Oh man, and Snakebandit managing to steal game 3 from the Jaws of Death.
Yeah, it looked like Duazen was just ready to punish Orkane coming out of the puddle, and he just wasn't able to get it. Snake was able to mix up the recovery with the side B, or the side special, just enough. And yeah, essentially steal game 3, kind of like you said, Hex.
Alright, so Snakebandit staying on for the 3rd game in a row, this time going against Jharlembuschk, yeah. I was hoping to do it when I set the overlay up, but I'm slow. So, here we are. That needs to be updated too. Okay. So, everything looking good now? I believe so. Okay, I think we are all good to go here. I might need to swap this though. Yes. Alright, so game 1 going to Merchant Court. Let's see how this goes. I'm wondering if Snake's playstyle is going to be good at kind of shutting down the way that Jharlen kind of likes to face roll a lot of his opponents. Something I'm interested to see. Can you spell out how to pronounce it? I apologize. Your name genuinely looks like a jumble of letters to me, and I'm trying my best. So far, had quite a bit of a lead. And with Endless being such a heavy character, it's going to be a little bit, it might be a little bit more difficult for Snake to get kills. And just coming in with the backness. Oh, and alright, you're just not going to tell me. I think, FYI, I think I'm reading chat a little behind, so if my responses seem really slow, that's why. But yeah. Alright.
Yeah, Harlem right now.
Getting the armor up, almost managing to lap Snake in percents. And with the armor, I mean, really, you might as well have already lapped him.
Yeah, Jay Harlem just trying to keep his stage control, staying to his side of the stage.
Yep, and missing the parry punish yet again. Something we've seen kind of all night. A lot of the parry punishes have been very inconsistent. Managing to get the armor up yet again and saving him there from the forward strong.
Right. Snake doing a pretty good job of...
Oh, that was unfortunate.
That doesn't matter when you can just use your hammer and take stocks.
Yeah. And if you don't respect it, you just kind of get deleted, and that's how it is in the MU. I see, unlike some of the other opponents Jharlem's gone against so far, or Jharlem, I don't know how to pronounce it.
Yeah, I think we're gonna say Jay Harlem.
Probably. I know, I imagine getting hit by hammer. Although I will say, I do see Snake going for a bit more parry against the Icicles than some of the other his we've seen so far. So that could help him out. Snake had a pretty big disadvantage game 1 though, and that just barely not taking it. But of course, Jharlem's still having 2 stocks to work with. And coming in with the Dacus, but not getting the hit. Getting a hit that time though. Game 1 going to Jharlem. Alright, so we're jumping into Game 2 on Fire Capital.
Ooh, we're seeing a color counter pick here from Snake.
Yep, going to Champ Orcane.
Well,
I'm gonna be honest, I feel like the champion skins are a little lame. Is that an unpopular opinion? I'm not a huge fan.
I think it depends on ones. There are definitely some that are more popular than others. I think the Raster one was maybe a more popular one.
I don't know, the transparency just doesn't do it for me. But onto the actual game here. Snakebandit having a pretty commanding first stock, using the bubbles to pressure the platform and getting the up air, taking the first stock. I mean, yeah, Jharlem's punish game again, kind of showing to be not as strong as you might like it to be, with Snake kind of turning it into his own favor for a second there. Jharlem's not actually too far behind though. Snake definitely doesn't have too much life left on this stock. If Edelus kill power is anything to say about it. And going in for the Dacus and landing it, taking the first stock. Jharlem not actually too much of a deficit despite the early first stock loss. Let's see. And once again, just kind of going down, getting the armor. And doing what he can. That was a pretty nice string from Jharlem, even managing to punish the roll. If Jharlem keeps it up with those kind of stronger advantage states, we can definitely see him kind of just absolutely obliterate in this set, I feel.
Absolutely. Yeah, that hammer's, like always, is going to play a big role here in terms of when those stocks are going to be dropped. Because yeah, pretty much any advantage that Snake had before seems to kind of be eaten up so far by Jharlem and the adaptation.
Yeah, that was a great tech read from Jharlem also. Kind of calling out, using the dash attack to call out, rolling out.
Absolutely. Yeah, not quite a situation that we've seen a whole lot from him. The great of the forward strong right there from... And we're at 1 stock apiece now.
Yeah, definitely something you have to respect with Orcane. Sometimes they have the puddle in a good spot. They'll just kind of run up and try to just forward strong on the puddle. They can hit you from pretty far away.
Okay, nice patience right there from Snake.
Yep.
Avoiding the downs.
Getting a little overzealous, whiffing the forward strong. Getting it turned against him for a little bit.
That was unfortunate.
Yeah. They're doing a pretty good job. I like how Snake is keeping the puddle in center stage, and kind of making it so that it really limits Jharlem's movement and kind of makes it harder for him to move around in neutral. It's a very good use of the puddle, and you see him do it consistently. But even despite that, Edelus kill moves, nothing to scoff at.
That hammer is also something we've seen consistently.
Alright, and here we go yet again. Edelus on Rockwall. Very scary stage to fight this character on. I'm actually quite interested as to why Snake would go here. It definitely feels like more of an Edelus favorite stage than anything.
I would agree.
Orca.
I kind of wonder the logic as well.
I'm almost thinking maybe he's wondering if he can pressure at a ledge. and then use the Blasters to his advantage, get early bear kills? I'm not really sure though. That seems like a relatively small factor here, and especially when you're on your tournament game here potentially. Do you really want to roll the dice against Edelist? I mean, it's worked so far. To his credit, it has worked.
Yeah, that seemed to really work there in that situation. Yeah, very interesting. We'll just kind of have to see how this plays out. Maybe we'll form different opinions after watching this.
Perhaps, yeah. And you know, it seems questionable, but one of the things about picking Rockwell and Armada is like, you know, it's basically just gambling. And sometimes it's going to work out very well for you. And so far, this has worked out phenomenally for Snake. He hasn't even gotten hit since that first stock. Up until now, of course. And
great parry and a great punish.
Absolutely. Snake actually kind of running away with this game. I was really apprehensive about the stage pick, but it seems like he knows what he's doing on here.
Yeah, you'd think in theory Edelist would have a little more space to set up his ice and stuff for ground control, but it seems like Orkane's just juggling Jharlem like crazy so far.
Yeah, and not only that, you would think that Jharlem would be able to kind of just kill like super easily, like be taking stocks at, you know, 80-90%, and just making it super hard. It's not earlier, making it hard for Snake to even play. We haven't
very
actually
nice
seen
stock
that.
though. Yeah, something else I was kind of thinking about is if Jharlem's able to get his hammer up and ready to go, you know, some of those edgeguard situations that Snake was getting earlier, they simply wouldn't kill in those situations, even if you're trying to get a smaller horizontal blast zone.
Yeah, and Snake having a pretty solid game 3, managing to hang on to life here. See if he can somehow manage to make the comeback.
Yeah,
Going
trying
yet
to
again to...
Snake.
Okay, yeah, this is not DSR. For a second I thought this was DSR, but I'm just used to people picking Karth for game 1. And Snake actually hit again with the skin counter pick. Or, actually no, he had this last game too, my bad.
Yeah, it's all good.
But yeah, then the stage counter, I mean the skin counter picks have been seemingly a bit helpful for Snake. I think he tried to parry that, but he did it a little bit too late. Jharlem kind of trying to hit him with the Dacus, but not quite getting it.
Yeah, I feel like this is a stage that Jharlem is pretty used to going to, even if it's not a total advantage for him. He's used enough to go and make a little more, that he can get a little more leverage.
I mean, Forest Flurry in general, I think, being one of the more spacious stages, having that stage to kind of set up ice and, you know, run back and forth can be really beneficial for Edelist. It can be beneficial for Orca too, but definitely a little bit more helpful for Edelist.
I would agree.
Alright, getting the armor up. Looks like Jharlem is going to make his first stock last for very long. Or not if Parry has anything to say about it, though.
Yeah, so Snake might have missed the first parry, but definitely didn't miss that one.
Not at all. And oh, Snake going for the backer. That could have been a really good edge guard, but not quite catching Jharlem's drift. And using the fair to pressure. Jharlem kind of expected him to go for the puddle there, but Snake not playing into his hand.
And yeah, Jharlem just throwing out his combos.
Yeah, using the bears kind of just combo and wall out Snake. And so we're lapping him in stocks. This isn't looking too great for Snake right now. And getting caught by the ice there. Well, managing to take the stock at least. Snake is in the game, but by how much, it's hard to say. And that is going to be Losers Finals going to Jharlembuschk.
Yeah, I definitely felt like most of that game Jharlem definitely had just a slight edge control-wise, but Snake doing a really good job reading the DI and getting some clutch stocks as well.
For sure. Alright, and now at long last, this has been quite a long night, but we are coming into grand finals at long last. It's going to be the run-back Sallgood versus Jharlembuschk. Let's see how this goes. It's all good, Pelicro. I mean, for what it's worth, Snake has made it to main before. He is a player that kind of is on like the verge of being main or intermediate, because he's usually either top 8 inter or not top 8 main, it seems like. Definitely he played extremely well today. Right, okay. I'm clearly not good at the English language, so my apologies. Alright though, so far, seeing Sallgood yet again kind of go for those, back airs as his main way of taking out Jharlem's stocks. And the seed actually getting stopped by that right there. Yes, it's, okay, that would make sense. Well, I don't know Spanish myself, so since the reason I'm not good at pronouncing it, I suppose. Alright though. So yeah. Alright, Jharlem getting up the armor. Could be a little tough for Sal to kill now. Realistically, both of these players are at even death percents right now. But bad DI on the down strong. Gonna nullify any effect that armor would have had.
Yeah, that strong definitely effective in DI mix-ups.
Sylvanas is a weird character. I don't know who you play, Rio. For some characters, this matchup can be super weird. And for Edelus in particular, as I was mentioning earlier when we saw this the first time, these are both characters that love to control ground space and use that to aid in neutral. That can make it really weird to just kind of be like a battle of the stage control almost. Clarin. Edelus. Interesting. So yeah, Saul going for some juggles here, but not getting a ton off of it. Oh, but that Tipper Fair managing to take the stock? I'm not quite sure what happened there to Jharlem. I think maybe a misinput?
Could be.
Yeah, it's hard to say. Yeah, Edelus can be a very frustrating character to play against, in my opinion. One day will find an Edelus to practice against, and Hammer not killing, too low percent, but it definitely looked like it was going to for a second.
Yeah, that was a scary situation, for sure. Sallgood definitely still trying to space out the back airs when Edelus is in the
Yeah, a lot of the times, it definitely seems like when he has Jharlem in disadvantage, a lot of the time he's kind of just thinking, okay, you know, how can I throw these seeds and how can I throw these back airs in a way that makes Jharlem uncomfortable? That's pretty much been the core of his game plan. Especially with a lot of these juggles not being overly effective, in my opinion. Even there, but Jharlem's kind of aggressive landings have really been calling out the way Sal likes to juggle.
What do you think of the stage pick here by...
This is actually something we saw earlier. I think this is a stage that can definitely help for Sylv, but again, I find it really awkward to place flowers. Whereas with Edelus, I feel like you want to be too hard to place ice in the spots you want to place it. So definitely a slight advantage towards Edelus here. And you know, these characters, with their relatively similar game plan, just kind of one character using stage control for aggro play and the other for defensive play, they're going to have a really similar stage list that they like. Just with Edelus, you know, liking certain stages that are easier to get ice up on, and so vice versa with grass.
And yeah, just like that, we see another knock is coming out from Jharlem.
Yep, definitely a very effective way for Edelus to get kills, something we've seen him do time and time again tonight.
Really good pedal wave jump struggles there right there from Sallgood. Not enough to prevent Jharlembuschk from getting his...
Now that he has the armor up, I'm not really sure how Sal's going to get a kill. I don't think he's gotten any kills with armor yet. Except for that one down strong, I think. There's been one kill against armor Edalus.
Right, and that was questionable DI too.
Exactly. But the armor goes away at the right time. Not quite the right spacing. That is definitely an awkward angle for Sylph to cover. And he really wanted to dash. And now he gets it. Jharlembuschk kind of just flying away off that up strong. And Sal managing to even things up. Nice snipes. And, oh, I wonder if he, like, buffered that or something.
Yeah, that looked like an awkward offstage scenario. That very well could.
Yeah, and very unfortunate in SD. It's a nice platform movement coming in from Sallgood. And, I'm starting to wonder if there was maybe some lag. Because these are some very questionable SDs happening here.
Yeah, that last one especially, but the first one as well. Yeah, that's interesting.
Jharlembuschk, since you're in chat, any confirmation on kind of what's going on with his SDs? Because I can imagine too that probably hurts a lot with morale. Just kind of, you know, playing well and suddenly being knocked off stage and just helplessly falling. Huh. Even Jharlembuschk kind of just not really understanding. Hopefully that didn't have too big of an effect on mental game. Of course, coming in, actually, yeah, just realized I have this too. Yeah, you know, playing this on loser side and having all those SDs, not a fun time.
Ooh, didn't get the right roll read right there.
Oh my god, if that somehow worked, that would have been amazing.
That's true, yeah, that would have been really crazy.
Would have been really funny. Man, Hammer. Oh, I see, okay. Some distractions coming in game 2. But so far things are being kept fairly even. Again, we're seeing very similar stage picks to the ones we saw in winners finals, with walk wall, and I think all of the stages we've seen so far were stages we saw in winners finals.
I think so, yeah. It hasn't been anything new from what I remember.
Yeah, I mean, it makes sense, you know, same players, same characters. You're going to be seeing a lot of the same stages, especially with the way these two characters interact. Alright, so maybe getting a bit of an edge guard here. But and there we go, Jharlembuschk finally managing to get something really good off of that freeze.
Yeah, it might have been a thing where it was only a matter of time where he was just kind of seeing the option Sallgood was opting to go for it, and eventually capitalizing on it when he needed to.
Alright. And trying to land with the hammer, Jharlembuschk, you madman. Alright, yeah, it's gonna be really hard for Sal to close out the stock now if the armor stays up. And not quite being able to do anything with those down specials. So trying to go for some kind of DI mix-up. And, ooh, I think he still had the armor on that frame as far as the game was concerned, but it still got the kill anyway, and even the Galaxy. This is kind of Rockwall for you.
Yeah, I noticed that Sallgood started going more aggressively with his stage control, and that's kind of what led to that back
yeah, and even
did not matter.
Jharlembuschk taking game 3 still has a bit of a chance to make it back tonight. Let's see what he does. And actually, this is the first time we're seeing a new stage this set.
Yeah, we're seeing Ethereal Gates.
Yeah, I'm a little surprised Saul would decide to go here. It's definitely a comfortable stage for Sylv, but it's very neutral in my opinion. I'm assuming at this point Jharlem probably banned Capital, since that's where Saul counterpicked last time. I mean, it would make sense.
I bet you're right. My gosh, just another hammer coming out from a different angle that time, but still able to get it. Some really good damage on Saul.
And let's see.
Once again,
Jharlem has a pretty good start right here.
Ooh, tried fishing for the back air, was not able to get it, unfortunately.
Yeah.
Trying to fish for it again. Oh, that was a really great howl. That essentially saved Sallgood.
Yeah.
Jharlem was not ready to...
Ooh, calling out that jump really hard with the upstrong.
We haven't seen that option come out very much from Sallgood, but when he has used it, he's really gotten some good...
That's something I'd say is fairly similar to the way I play Sylv. I don't use a lot of upstrong. I try to be conservative with it. Amazing that when you are able to find those situations, it's all the easier to kind of get the opponent to fall for it.
Right.
So as we saw last week.
Here's the option being thrown out a little more last week, but yeah, very interesting to see the different Sylv playstyles.
It's also kind of refreshing to not have half of the stream be Sylv. I love Sylv, but you know, character diversity is important.
We've got really great character variety tonight.
For sure. I was really happy with it. There are, I don't think, any repeats because Kazer went random. So that helped.
Yeah, that was particularly interesting as well.
Yeah. Ooh.
Yeah.
I always expect hammers just kind of obliterate stocks no matter what. But yeah, saw running into it but not dying. And Jharlem managing to hold on to this stock for a very long time. Something we've seen quite a few times in these sets. Alright, there we go, managing to punish him for the hammer that time.
Ooh, setting up a good edge guard.
Yeah, so in that situation,
yeah,
in that situation, I probably would have tried to bear him through the platform and, you know, hit him lower rather than go high, because Jharlem can kind of angle himself a bit more if you give him the time to go up. See, that I think was a good attempt, because the higher you let Jharlem go, the more control he has over how he angles himself.
Right. So yeah, it's kind of your way of catching it sooner rather than later. Right.
You do run the risk of them teching it, unfortunately. But at least you can like land in and rack on the damage and not just let them get back for free.
Right. And yeah, I mean, and you could read that and possibly get punished.
Alright. It's looking like a very scary game 4 for Sallgood. Jharlem might be able to take us and get one game closer to a potential reset.
Okay, there we go. We see some of that back air pressure coming out a little sooner that time.
Yep.
It's all good.
Kind of noticing with the music looping, this has been one of the longest games we've seen so far. Oh, wow. That was an amazing last stock from Saul.
Very
an amazing last stock that brings him to taking the tournament. So, that is going to be all for tonight. Yeah. So, congrats to Sallgood for taking Inter with his... This is your first time using Stove in Bracket, right? I'm pretty sure. But yeah, overall, it was a ton of fun to watch everyone play tonight. Great seeing some good character diversity. Just kind of seeing what everyone can bring to the table. I had a lot of fun tonight. Yeah. Lots of technical difficulties at the start, but, you know, it all worked out pretty well in the end, I'd say.
I feel like the wait was worth it. We had a lot of good game 4s and game 5 sets. Yeah, definitely a very good time watching some Code Kang games tonight, and we appreciate you guys that have stuck around for intermediate bracket. Despite the technical difficulties, we appreciate you guys coming in and spending your Sunday evening watching us.
Yeah.
So I know we're starting work week tomorrow, so once again, just thank you very much for the support and the viewership as well.
Absolutely. Yeah, it was a lot of fun. Hope everyone enjoyed watching. And yeah, for everyone that played tonight, again, good games. Hopefully, being able to watch them back at some point or another will help you grow as a player. And yeah, not much else I have to say now. So I think I'm gonna get going because it is pretty late and I want to sleep.
Yep, that sounds good.
Good
Thanks.
games and good night, everyone.
Yep, take care.